like to welcome each and every one of you to Music with a Twist with our Dive Deep series. Now, we'll be interviewing Bahamian artist Varcy Duncombe. I'm just going to tell you a little bit about her before we dive into this beautiful young lady and her journey because we want to get to know as much about her as we possibly can. I'm so excited to have you here. But
Thank you.
Varsi is a Bahamian artist from the island of Freeport. Hey, that's my hometown, Grand Bahama, the Bahamas. And she has been singing since she was a little girl. She started off with the Grand Bahama Youth Choir, where she was afforded the opportunity to solo for the choir and even travel internationally. At the age of 17, she traveled with an international group called Up with People, where she traveled with performance groups of up to 107 international members to 8 cities in America, 6 in Mexico, and 3 islands in the Philippines for 6 months. By 2014, she joined her very first band and did band gigs around the island until 2016. In midsummer 2016, she recorded her very first single and music video. She spent the next few years as her own project manager, editor, songwriter, and director. After accumulating an album, she has been given the opportunity to work along with 2 Grammy Award winning producers in Dallas, Texas. Her repertoire has been expanded, where she has been featured on iHeartRadio, interviewed by Voyage Dallas magazine, and then later brought on to be interviewed by iHeartRadio. She has also written for 2 international artists with a feature and duet track. Her music has been making its rounds internationally and now been played on international radio stations. Wow, that's a whole lot. Now, just to start off,
Yeah.
can you tell us a little bit about yourself, based on what I've read and the genre of music that you generally sing?
Well, yeah, like you said, I've been doing music for basically my whole life, but I have been able to, I guess, get into recording, around 2016. And that's when, things really started to, happen. But so I do hair, and I like nature. It's just a fun fact. So yeah, I am, and the genres that I'm dealing with right now would be pop, Afro beats, R&B, reggae, soul, a little bit of classical. But I am writing to different genres. So right now I'm just, I guess seeing what works.
Okay, and I like the whole concept, of you saying that you're seeing what works because that
Right.
leads me into my next question. Like, being a Bahamian, growing up listening to Bahamian music when you go out to places like Port Lagaya or when you're
Right.
walking through on the cruise ships, we understand the importance of Bahamian music. Now, in your opinion, is it sellable to you? Do you think
Um,
Bahamian music is sellable?
I think it's a conversation to have. I think that in order for the music to be sellable, we kind of have to bridge those gaps, because I do think it's a lot of gaps within the decades and the generations. I think there's a lot of exploration that they did not do or probably didn't accept. Um, and they have to be able to put us on a level where we're able to compete globally. I think that's one of our disadvantages. We are not able to necessarily compete globally. um, and when that happens, it's normally when you're an American citizen or you got opportunity elsewhere. But, as for right now, we still have a very young music industry, and we don't necessarily have the ecosystem that we need in order to, get out there and do what we have to do. So I think it's a lot of work that has to be done and a lot of cleaning up to do. Um, but I guess it takes the conversations and the actions for that to actually happen. I do think it's sellable, but there has to be, you have to be able to meet the industry standards, like I said, to
Mm,
compete in the world. So I do think uh, a lot of persons that do pursue that genre, they find it offensive. But to be honest with you, even reggae had to push its way through because reggae was kind of illegal, years ago, and
oh
now
wow.
it's accepted globally. Yeah, you had a lot of persons that got arrested for even performing reggae. So, I
Wow.
think it's a lot of history that has to be done, but we won't be able to figure this out until we actually admit that we have a history of oppression and we have a history that, people try to cover up. They only go so far when it
Yeah.
comes and they try to make it seem as if it wasn't that bad, but if it wasn't, then why are we so oppressed as a nation, and why are the industries that we need to be developed aren't as developed as we need them to be?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you took it really deep very quickly, and I really like that as it
Yeah,
opposed to when it comes to reggae and the struggle that the reggae artists actually had to go through.
right,
And the first person my mind went to was Bob Marley for sure,
right,
and
right.
all of the struggles that he had actually putting reggae music. And it makes me wonder, are Bahamians really ready for that? Are we
Oh,
ready to push with the standards? Are we going to get ourselves registered on the PROs, PMI, ASCAP? Are we going to go and get us sync licensing done, all of the
yeah,
necessary music rights? So we're going to get everything copyright, and put everything into place to actually be at top level and be, recognized by the Grammys and so forth.
you know.
And
I
is,
sorry.
go ahead.
I guess I think what's happening right now is we have a lack of music literacy, whereas a lot of
Mm,
persons they only see what's happening on TV. They don't understand that music is equity and music is something that you have to protect. Music is like, you know,
yes.
music like you trade in land. And I think because we haven't seen a lot of examples, I wouldn't say me, but a lot of Bahamians don't
Mm,
actually see music as a career, and that's the number one issue. They're teaching people that music isn't something to pursue, and a lot of people don't think that the entertainment music is actually something that they have to invest in or support, unless it makes it to a really, really big stance where you probably don't need
mm,
them. This is when they, choose to step in. And it's not saying everybody does it, but the majority of people, in our country, they don't see music as that. So, when you talk about stuff like copyright and BMI, and it's still a lot of restrictions in terms of being a Bahamian, and that's a
mhm,
big conversation to have. But like I said, if you're not pursuing music, and investing in the music and asking the right questions, that's another problem. A lot of people don't know it's a question to ask. So when you don't know what question to ask, you don't really know what step to take. And that's why you have a lot of people, they, persons stealing their music or, just using them to pursue what they need to pursue and just, so I think it's music literacy is very low. We don't have the
yeah,
resources.
yeah, most definitely. And just to think about that, I don't know if you saw seen the recent case with Ed Sheeran and how Marvin
Right,
Gaye family was suing him over simple thing is chords, and the song actually sounding similar. I was so
right,
happy when I won that, but that was like kind of my reference to when reaching out to artists and letting them know this is why it's so important to actually have your things, your music business information straight,
right,
because people left and right can take your music and you're just gonna say, that's okay, but that's your hard earned work, that's your hard earned money, that's your time in the studio, that's That's everything. You know what I mean?
It's a double-edged sword with that case because
Yeah.
um composers would be like, even though you feel like it's just one chord off,
Hmm.
that's still my music. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's almost like, okay, so if you could take him to court for that, then how much other people need to be in court? Because there is a lot
Yeah.
of music that stems from songs that might have not blown up or songs that are already blown up, but there's so many stuff out there um, that BMI is supposed to detect. So how did
Hmm.
I don't know? It's a big conversation, and it could be an all day thing. You could go back and forth all
Yeah.
day, but it's like you could want to be happy that he won the case, but at the same time, if it was to happen to you, you would probably feel like, like I really miss out because he making money off my stuff, and you
Yeah.
know. So I don't know. It's interesting to read the comments and all the vlogs and the articles and
Hmm.
stuff like that. It's educational, but at the same time, it's like, what side do you pick?
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know. I like my eyes is getting tired trying to read the case in the first place, and it was just like, I don't know. I just
Well,
like, yeah,
yeah. Well, I was catching up with it on CNN, so that's how I knew about it. And when he won, I was
oh,
like, okay.
it's a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah, it is. So, going on that same train of thought, what are your most recent challenges in the music industry, and have you overcame them or tried to overcome them?
Um, I got a lot going on, and it's a lot of stuff already starting to happen before I even get to where I want to be.
Hmm.
So I know when I do get to where I want to be, I know it's going to be a lot. You already have people saying that you telling me I selling out, because I'm not necessarily doing bohemian music, which and I could double back and
Hmm.
do it if I want. The first track I got produced was a soca song. It was a mixture between soca and junkanoo. But that was
Girl,
just for
like
me. So
Caribbean is still the same thing.
that's what I'm saying, and I think Bohemians need to get over that genre discrimination. That's yes, I said that. I don't know if that's a real title, but I think they gotta stop trying to put people in the boxes. I will not be put in the box. I cannot. I will not
Mm,
exist in a box. I even tried to put myself in a box after getting tricked by thinking I should have been in the box, and that was,
mm,
stagnating me.
mm,
Um, so it's like, I guess, you work hard to get to where you at, and then you have to try your best not to develop survivor's guilt and
mm,
imposter syndrome.
mm, yeah,
What you work for, you supposed to give to everybody. You know what I mean? Um,
yeah,
so I struggle with no support and
mm,
uh, mockery, and just people being outright just unfair towards you for you trying to live out your dreams. um However, I've always found that the rejection I received actually opened up new doors for me.
yeah,
That's kind of how I got into studio work. I worked with the bands for so long, and then they just started repelling me, and I was just like, okay, well, I had to come up with a way to still have a platform. and
mm,
um, and then that started to dry up, being able to record with certain people. And then that caused me to get another opportunity. So it's like every time a door closed, another one
another
opened.
one opens. Yeah,
Yeah. So I had to kind of find the grace, to, learn the lessons from it, and, just understand where people at, what level they on, and,
mm,
not being as upset as I used to be. Still working on it, but
yeah,
you know, and seeing myself get to, other levels, not also understanding that, I wouldn't be able to carry everybody, but I could still, you know, find a
yeah,
way to be graceful about it. You don't have to get, haughty about you getting a certain place because you know it's still hard. It's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And thank you for sharing that, because I know with my own personal experiences, I basically dealt with the same thing. A lot
Right.
of rejection, really, and actually it opened up a lot of doors
Yeah.
internationally, and having the opportunity to share
Right.
producers, any music creator that I come in contact with,
Right.
my message is never been, I can't carry you, but, I can assist you with showing you what I have. And like she shared about, things being a stepping stone, because that's the best way that we can look at it. You don't stay on the
Yeah.
same step if you want to get to the next step. Yeah, you just
Yeah.
have to keep moving up and up and up and up. But that really, I'm really impressed with your accomplishments. I don't know how, but should I say that? Yes, I'm gonna say it. I don't know if you're so privy to the other Bahamian artists that are out there, but I think that you've moved pretty much far.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
even if it's not what is authentically Bahamian.
Right.
But
I
I
mean,
heard you mention a little bit about studio work and doors. Okay,
yeah.
go ahead. You
I can hear you.
Oh, yeah. I heard you saying a little bit about studio work and, about your downfalls and having to move on and doors being open up. And I was extremely impressed about your new hit on iHeartRadio, and you
Oh,
actually recording in Dallas. And I just wanted to hear a little bit of, you don't have to tell us too much now, but I just want to hear a little bit of, after hearing so much about what happened negatively. We want to hear about how positively all of
yeah.
that impacted you, because that can encourage someone who is just starting out for the first time.
Right. Well, I guess a little history about how it even happened in the first place. I had somebody
Mm.
had connected me to the producer over in Dallas, and so I had about 5 months to prepare for that actual trip, which means I had to get my budget together, and try to map out how I wanted stuff to be when I got over there. So I had like 5 months to prepare, which was good. Um, and so like everything started to happen gradually, but it was almost like a surprise for me because every other time I'd get a phone call like, "Hey, this person wants to meet you," but I hadn't even, didn't get over there yet. Um, and so
Wow.
the night I flew in, that's when I found out that we were actually related. I didn't know that we were related, and yeah, they basically is like working with them. I had a culture shock because it was just so professional, just the way they did things. I wasn't really
Mm.
accustomed to doing it over here because we kind of laid back over here, and it's almost like okay,
Wow. Yeah.
when we do this, we do this. But I was used to
Mm.
the schedule, because I was used to putting myself on a time frame, even though I didn't really know why I was doing the videos and the songs and stuff like that, but I didn't know who was gonna see me, and I was already used to
Mm.
doing stuff on my own, itineraries, scheduling, stuff like that. But yeah, so I guess my name started to get around, uh, based on me
Not
going over
yes,
the
it is
first.
happening, girl.
Yeah, like it was. I was shocked. I still shocked. I actually just came back 2 weeks ago, and yeah, I was telling my producer, I was like, I given this a chance, and I hope this worked because I was like, I had so much letdowns, and I don't know what I can do if this don't work. And he was like, oh, it can work out, and he just was trying to reassure me. But I was like, listen, I already got trust issues with dealing with so many persons that
Mm.
it's not a dream. I try to work towards it, and it just wasn't working out. But on the better side of things, I get to see how the industry actually is, and it
Mm-hmm.
actually helped me to understand, humility is the best way, because they do a lot of things. They're doing so much over there, but you wouldn't really know everything that they're doing, and they show me, so I'm learning so much information. It's like hard to retain a lot of stuff. And
Yeah.
I haven't found something like that in a while, where someone is just giving me continuous information without feeling like I'm gonna overthrow them. So
Mm,
the fact that they put
wow.
me on and giving me knowledge, which is what I always wanted,
Yeah.
and I'm able to do the research. When they say stuff to me, I could research it to, fact check to see if this was really going on. So that gave me a lot of comfort. Um, I guess, and it's just showing that perseverance and having faith in your works, even if you don't see, like, where you're gonna end up. I think that was one of the biggest
Mm-hmm.
lessons. And also seeing that God would humble you before he exalts you to certain things, because it was like certain parts of my life I was like, sheesh, like you blessing me with this, but I don't have that, you know what I mean? So I think
Mm-hmm.
it was a lot to learn, but on a good scale of things. But I did experience a culture shock, going over, seeing that they want to work with you, they taking the time out, they actually taking you serious, you know what I mean? And allowing you to show yourself so that they could decide, okay, you ready for the next level or not? You know what I mean? So they've been giving
Yeah.
me assignments from the jump, and I've been executing them to the best of my abilities, and I guess it did well.
Yeah, I can totally, agree with that with my own experience in the music industry or music business industry so far. You know,
Yeah,
when you have questions, there's always someone there to assist you, and just like you said, they match you based on your level of seriousness.
right,
So
right.
it kind of like humbles you and pushes you, and I liked how you said that you
Yeah,
researched and you looked and it gave some sort of confidence. I heard you said comfort, but I felt confidence,
yeah,
from what you
yeah,
were saying. Yeah.
yeah,
But
yeah.
you basically covered, everything that I wanted to ask you. Is there anything else you want to talk about or anything else you want to share? Like tips, to new artists who maybe just coming out, seasoned artists, because you have some seasoned artists who still, need
Yeah.
help, want help, but they won't ask. Is there, you can feel free.
I guess tips I'd help a new artist is, find your lane. Be true to what you like. Because I was so shocked when I bring this song to them, and it's like this kind of like pop cinematic type classical song. And I was like, I already wrote to the track. I had a demo, and I gave it to them, and I was like,
Uh,
girl, I was like, please, please don't reject
I
it. And it was
I
like,
haven't
they was
heard
like,
that.
why you don't reject it?
I really like your Cuban song, the one you did in Cuba. That was really nice.
Oh, forever. Yeah, like,
Hmm.
I guess my fear was trying to figure out, as a Bahamian black woman, you know, the type of music I was doing, they'd be saying
Hmm.
is like, oh, are you trying to do that? But I mean, that's just what I like. I like the biggest project that I really looking up to right now is The Little Mermaid. Well, The Little Mermaid. I looking up to that
No.
project so much because I was like, they try to put us in this box and they try to tell us what we could be, what
Hmm.
we could do, how we could act, and I that's the type of stuff I into. So I wrote a lot of music
Yeah.
in that particular genre, and they just was like, wow. And I was like, really? You know what I mean? Because like I had it sitting there for so long, and they just was like, yeah, like what else you got? And we've done paperwork and splits, and we talk about percentages, and they're very courteous with what you want the percentage to be, how would you like it to be, you know what I mean? And they've given me a lot of freedom as an artist, which I've never, even though I've always been independent, I've never had that type of freedom. And so I would
Mm-hmm.
say try to find people with character that you could work with. Don't focus so much on how you feel like a famous person should look and what you think a celebrity is, because there's so much
Mm-hmm.
different famous people and celebrities. They all have different personalities and characters. So I guess find what works for you. And also for the Bahamian artist, try to like don't let where you are stagnate you from what you want to become. Especially when it comes to the type of music you write. You could do fusions if you want. You know what I mean? It's your money. And I always tell people it's like, nobody's sponsoring me. So everybody's sponsoring me and that. So
It's
if
a Joe Walker.
I can't do it, if I using my money on something, I need to be able to be happy with that. You know what I mean? So I think
Exactly.
we got to learn to think about the investments that people making for themselves. And I think in a country like this, they like to, if they see you climbing to the top, it's like, oh, let me try to tell them what I want them to do to represent me. But you could,
Mm-hmm.
let people do what they need to do to be who they are. You know what I mean? That was the biggest takeaway I started to get. A lot of people, they want to put labels on you and they want you to do this and do. Someone was like, oh, I ain't supporting you because you don't do Bahamian music. I was like, but I've been in jungle from I was 5. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
when they playing, I on the dance floor with my shoes off. What else you want? You know what I mean? I mean, I got the island. I got the island character. What else you want from me? You know what I mean? Just allow me to do what I need to do. But yeah, and to artists, I guess like keep making your material. Keep making your material, even if you feel like nobody looking at you, nobody watching you. Somebody gonna see you. You know what I mean? God will send somebody or people to help you out and help you to do things
Mm-hmm.
along the way. Keep researching. You know what I mean? And also don't look at how it looks. Like a lot of people feel like they put a
Mm-hmm.
song out, they supposed to be rich tomorrow. They supposed to look rich. You know what I mean? Like it's a fantasy, and I think
Yeah.
if you get things too quickly, you won't be able to, I guess, keep your humility and
Appreciate it.
keep your character in place and right your
Yes.
appreciation where it needs to be. So I think before you ask for so many things, I think you need to look at the amount of character it's going to take to actually keep what you're asking for. But
Yeah,
yes,
most definitely.
right.
Yeah.
But I didn't know about
Thank
your
you so
compositions and stuff. I know that you was
much.
doing piano and stuff. I said I didn't get to hear about your compositions and how's it going for you?
Oh, everything is a bit slow, like you said. I started
Yeah.
off with training and development, like the piano courses and
Right,
everything. And after reaching out, just like you said, with the whole rejection in that area, it led
right.
me into the music business. And I see where the opportunity is much better in the music business. With reaching
Right.
out to music competition, like you said, and I started doing a little bit of artist management as well,
Okay.
and looking at the whole scope of it. Yeah, but my main goal right now is to actually get into music executory business because I see
Hmm.
that that's something that we need in the Caribbean. A lot of
Right.
persons are saying that they want to be independent artists, independent producers, DJs, and
Hmm.
so forth, and they're not really, getting anything from it. And just like you say, a lack of knowledge. But
Yeah.
child, I'm just tracking my way up the mountain. I
Right.
haven't seen the top of the mountain yet, but I
Yeah,
must
it's a
say
lot.
this. I must say this. I have gotten a lot of help. Not inside the country. From Trinidad, the um, Ministry of Export and Import from Trinidad. They've been helping me a lot. I've been getting assistance from persons. in the Recording Academy, responsible for meetings and getting assistance from persons in the music business
Right.
association. That's a big company in Nashville, and the list goes on because it's a network. And everything, that they all say to me is, I say to them, why is the information so free? Why are you so helpful? And they say, well, it was never a competition, to begin with. Yeah. We're
Yeah, it's
all
so
in together.
hard.
So the more persons know about it, the more we could actually eat. I was telling someone who has music about a lot. I said, do you notice in the music this artists like kind of rotated where each person is able to eat from the pie at a certain segment in the year. Like this person would release their music and then go quiet. Then that person would release their music and go quiet. Like they each give each other an opportunity to release and go in
Yeah.
concert tours, and they share the same musicians. They share the same producers. The knowledge is pretty much there. You
Right.
know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's tracking up a mountain. I'm getting as much help as I can. I haven't reached the top as yet, but
Yeah.
this is
It's
part
not.
of the journey, and I'm so happy to share persons like yourself.
Right.
And I
Right.
can't say that I'm smart enough to do it, because I truly believe that God helped me too as well. You know,
Right.
I thought that
Okay.
I was always supposed to be a piano player. I never really thought that it was gonna end up like this.
Yeah.
Reaching like,
But
but
it's
it's a
so.
part of pie.
Yeah.